From the Ministry of the Presidency in Georgetown, this is This Week with the President, with Janelle Carter.
Welcome to another edition of This Week with the President, a weekly news magazine which provides you with an in-depth look at the policies, programs, and work of the President of Guyana in his quest to realize the good life for all Guyanese. I'm your host, Janelle Carter. In the news this week, President Granger nominates Janet Cummins Edwards as Acting Chief Justice. President Granger calls on Region 10 to build a new economy as Linden launches with $155 million allocation. Operation Dragnet yielding results, and men must respect women's equality, President Granger tells Adventist Men's Conference. After years of neglect, President David Granger announced the Linden Action Plan and urged residents of Linden Region 10 to rebuild their economy on the 4 pillars of investment, information, infrastructure, and innovation. The President made the call as 40 entrepreneurs receive their loan approval letters from Linden Enterprise Network, LEN, at the launch of the Microcredit Initiative. A wider call was also made for residents of that region to inculcate an attitude of cooperation in order to aid development in the region. In his address to the gathering at the launch, President Granger congratulated the team at LEN for sticking it out during a difficult period and pledged that his administration will ensure the institution remains viable. However, the President also seized the opportunity, while in the mining town, to call on residents to play a greater role in the development of their community.
We now have to go into an era of cooperation. There is no doubt the success of Linden, the success of the Upper Demerara-Berbice region will depend on our ability to combine our energies, to use our God-given resources, and to improve the lives of our household and our children as well.
The President further encouraged residents of the community to inculcate an attitude of cooperation and to build institutions that will foster cooperation and ultimately development for the region. Announcing the Linden Action Plan at the LEN launch, the head of state said the first pillar should be built on investment, stating that microcredit can lift the community out of poverty and transform the region.
So investment is the first and important pillar, and we want to launch LEN today on the basis of the strength of that first pillar. The second pillar is the pillar of information. We are living in an information age. Information is not optional anymore, it is obligatory. You cannot embark on enterprise without information. You may have good ideas, but unless you have information about the market, unless you have information about production, you will not be able to succeed.
Acknowledging the need for solid infrastructural development and innovation in every modern town, President Granger called on residents to work with government to build to support the development of innovative enterprises. Meanwhile, some of the recipients were in praise of the new administration for the rebirth of LEN.
I went for this alone because I want to enhance my business. I already have the business, but I want it to be of a high standard and to provide a wide variety of services, not only locally but of an international standard. I want to say thanks to LEN and also to the President for giving them this opportunity so that they can help the young persons to have their own business and to have it of a high standard. And also with this loan, I'll be expanding so that I can employ persons to work with me so that I can help to eliminate the unemployment.
I'm into the poultry industry, and receiving a loan, it's quite privileged. I feel real good to have the government and LEN actually back the youths in their dreams. I already have an existing business, so this will go to enhance my business, to take it to the next level. So we're looking into to employment also. With this loan, we will now be able to mine more birds, more pigs, more chicken, and able to meet the market demand that is so growing, because it's food. Everybody uses food, everybody needs food, so we'll be able to meet the demand and provide employment for our community.
Meanwhile, Ms. Valerie Patterson, Chief Executive Officer at LEN and Member of Parliament who chaired the event, spoke of the need for LEN in Linden and how it was reported, stating after the closure of LEAP, there was a need for a facility to continue business development services, inclusive of investment, promotion, and microcredit services. Patterson said when LEN became operational, it was still not able to meet its objective of giving credit, and there were instances when workers were not even sure of receiving their salaries for services. However, with the recent allocation, the institution is now debt-free and can pay staff on time. She added that in the 2015 national budget, LEN received an allocation of $155 million to operate. With this allocation, the institution was able to add to its staff complement to better serve the community, and the much-needed amenities in the building were restored. President Granger has nominated Justice Janet Cummins Edwards to act in the role of Chief Justice when the current acting Chief Justice, Ian Chang, goes on pre-retirement leave on December 15. In accordance with the Constitution, the President met with Leader of the Opposition, Dragnet, to consult on the nominee.
Good morning. All right. Good everybody. Yes.
We looked at the judges, particularly the judges in the appeal court, and we felt that Justice Janet Cummins was the person who could fulfill the duties or carry out the duties of Chief Justice. So we felt she's the most suitable person. We looked at her experience, the decisions which she's given, her qualifications, and we felt that she was the most suitable when all these factors were taken into consideration.
The President added that the consultative process was conducted completely in line with what is required by the Guyana Constitution. President Granger said he is satisfied the nominee is a good person to fulfill the functions, and in due course he will have another consultation with the Leader of the Opposition to have a permanent appointee. He was, however, keen on pointing out that in the interim, Mr. Carl Singh is the substantive Chief Justice. Singh is also acting Chancellor. Meanwhile, Attorney General Basil Williams, who was also present during the meeting, was also in high praise of the government's appointee.
We believe she's the best person for the role. She's highly qualified, very experienced in terms of being on the bench, and she has been in the Court of Appeal for many years, and a lot of her decisions have been, her own decisions have been upheld by the Caribbean Court of Justice, so there's no question about her competency and her qualifications and her dedication.
Justice Cummins has a total of 27 years in the legal field and has served as Justice of Appeal since 2008. Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Brigadier David Granger, said that Operation Dragnet is an ambitious approach to total national defense, and that the Guyana Defense Force and the Guyana Police Force have a responsibility to prevent internal civil violence and internal terrorism from ever returning to this country. The President told soldiers and officers based at the Iterengbang location recently that they must be prepared to deal with both external and internal threats. Operation Dragnet represents a holistic approach to national security, which allows the Guyana Defense Force and the Guyana Police Force to focus on their specialized areas. Let's take a look. The President opined that between 2000 and 2010, crimes such as drug trafficking, trafficking in persons, gun running, and smuggling brought the greatest destruction Guyana has ever seen in 50 years. It is for this reason, he said, Operation Dragnet was launched.
And we have, as members of the Defense Force and the Police Force in 2015, to prevent such a recurrence, to prevent internal civil violence, internal terrorism from ever coming back to this country. We have to develop Guyana. We have the resources: gold, diamonds, bauxite, manganese, timber, the best tourism potential. And your job is to protect these resources.
In addition, the Total National Defense Policy, which stipulates that all the elements and instruments of national power be combined to protect Guyana's territory, will give support to Operation Dragnet. This policy will give regular and reserve forces the resources they need to perform their mission over the next 5 years. Referencing acts of terrorism internationally, President Granger said all citizens, more importantly the security forces, have to ensure that no form of terrorism, domestic or otherwise, is allowed to take root in Guyana.
We live as brothers. Christians, Muslims, and Hindus live together. We've never had religious wars in this country. And we never will if you continue to do your work. We've never encouraged any form of extremism. And we never will, as long as the Defense Force continues to do its work.
Meanwhile, on December 6, President David Granger told a gathering at the launch of the new Guyana Islamic Trust Secretariat and the ISA Elementary School building on East Street that there should be no place for extremism in Guyana. The head of state used the forum as a platform to speak of Guyana's strong history of religious tolerance as he congratulated the Guyana Islamic Trust for coming out publicly and condemning acts of terrorism.
I'd like to personally congratulate the Guyana Islamic Trust for taking a stand, a moral stand, a religious stand, a stand that is based on the perception of humanity. That is nothing in any of the three great religions in this country, in Islam, in Hinduism, in Christianity, which could justify the taking of life, the massacres, the killing of innocent people. And I'd like to associate myself with the members of the Guyana Islamic Trust and the members of the Islamic community in Guyana who have condemned religious violence, religious extremism.
Noting that there is nothing in the three main religions observed in Guyana, Islam, Hinduism, and Christianity, that justifies terrorism, the president called on all Guyanese to continue the tradition religious tolerance in Guyana. Meanwhile, reflecting to a period in Guyana's history during the 1960s, the president noted that when the country gained its independence in 1966, it was a broken state. It is for this reason, the president said, Guyana's 50th independence anniversary observance must be a time when the country celebrates a second independence, one that marks the healing of the nation.
These are the enemies of the Guyanese people, not one another. Poverty, illiteracy, ignorance, stupidity. These are the enemies of nationhood. Other people are moving ahead, but we are holding ourselves back because of our failure to come together to achieve that goal of national cohesion.
President Granger also used the opportunity to congratulate the trust for what he called an investment in education and an investment in the nation. He added that the organization is one that approaches its project with only success in mind, and as a result, they are reaping the benefits of that investment. Adding that the formation of religious schools is protected by the Constitution, President Granger pledged the government's support for institutions that match moral teachings and academics.
In recent years, all three major religions have been able to embark on educational enterprises and initiatives which show the value of associating academic education with moral values. So whether it's Islam, whether it's Hinduism, whether it's Christianity, the value of religious schools has been proven. And there will be nothing done on the part of this government or this president to prevent these schools from continuing their successful program of education.
The land on which the new school and Guyana Islamic Trust Secretariat building was constructed was donated by Nazar Mohammed of Mohammed's Enterprise, and the completion of the project was facilitated through a loan from the Islamic Development Bank. President Granger made a small donation to the school and added that he will provide further support where possible. President David Granger has made a call for men to respect women's equality as he outlined what he called the 3 pillars of gender relations on Saturday last at the National Association of Adventist Men's Ministry 2015 conference, which was held at the main auditorium of the Sophia Exhibition Center.
Today we're making, I wouldn't call it a start, but we're continuing this journey of educating and equipping men to work in a more harmonious and more consensual environment. Women do constitute half of the country, half of the world. And although we have inherited conventions and practices for centuries, for millennia, we now live in a new age in which we respect women, respect children, respect our girl children, because they are half of society. They are half of the world.
Moving forward, the president said manhood should be based on making responsible choices, respect for equality of women, and their will to resolve. Citing the theme of the conference, Equipping Men for Today's Challenges, the president underscored the importance of understanding the way a man thinks and how he views his masculinity. He added that while generations have inherited conventions and practices for centuries, in the 21st century, respect for women is indispensable as they make up half of the world's population. The church must then ensure inequalities are not persist.
These choices have to be responsible Christian choices. Go back to the Bible and learn from the life of Christ, from his compassion. It was not advised to live a profligate life. He taught us through parables. He taught us how to love and respect and show tolerance. And at the same time, he taught us respect and making the right choices.
The president also pointed out that societies are undergoing rapid changes at all levels, and some of these changes have resulted in the changing roles of women who continue to rise to the highest echelons of office in society. Let's take a look inside the president's diary. On December 5th, the President and First Lady joined with the Ming family, proprietors of Ming's Products and Services Limited, to celebrate the company's 25th year of existence. The company has been exemplary in taking its corporate responsibility seriously.
Ming's Products and Services has been in the vanguard of, I would say, corporate responsibility. We have a company that is not afraid to engage with the community, that is not afraid to be visionary, that is not afraid to be a pace setter. And this is what we've seen from MPS over the last 25 years.
Ming's started operation in February 1990 at the upper flat of Farfan and Mendes building on Oakwood Street, Georgetown. Today, the company has expanded significantly with several locations in and out of Georgetown. President David Granger on Wednesday distributed several bottles of Zamzam water, which was sourced from a well in Saudi Arabia, to various Muslim organizations during a meeting. The president handed over the bottles of water to representatives of the United Sadar Islamic Anjuman, the Central Islamic Organization of Guyana, and the Ghana Islamic Trust. The water was sourced during his trip to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia in November. Zamzam is the name of the well that provides water for billions of people, especially during the Hajj pilgrimage. The Zamzam well is believed to have sprung up at the feet of a baby prophet Ishmael in 2000 BC, and it continues to flow up to present day. The word Zamzam means stop, stop. Scholars believe that the water from the Zamzam well has significant healing powers, and as such it is often given to the sick. President Granger on Friday met with members of the University of Guyana Senior Staff Association as well as members of the University of Guyana Workers Union. The delegation was led by President of the University's Senior Staff Association, Dr. Melissa Eiffel, and President of the Union, Bruce Haynes, and included Dr. Pat Francis, immediate past President of the UGSSA, and Thomas Singh, Executive Member. That's to the end of this edition of This Week with the President. Thank you for joining us. For regular updates on the Ministry of the Presidency, visit our website www.motp.gov.gy. Like our Facebook page, Ministry of the Presidency, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at MOTP Guyana. I'm Jonelle Carter. Do have a safe and productive rest of the week. Goodbye.